Have you ever witnessed a wedding objection? What was it like? I objected at my cousin's wedding. The dude had hit her multiple times. He was and is generally a douchebag. Every time I had ever seen him, he was drunk. And my cousin, who I was previously very close with, quit talking much and suddenly became very clumsy, falling down and hitting her face on things a lot. I had no intention of going. Turned down being in the wedding party. Turned down going to the bachelorette party. My mother and aunt begged me to go over my objections. I told them why I didn't want to go. They made a bunch of excuses and told me it was just me being jealous. Ended up going, explicitly to object. The priest did the speak up or forever hold your peace. I stayed that I object because the guy is an abusing pile of shit. Everything went silent. One of my cousins and my dad walked me out. The marriage continued. Nobody talked to me for about a year. Right after the dickhead got arrested for hitting her in the face with a hand mixer because she made something wrong. Turned out I was right. Yet they are still married even though he has been to jail twice now for beating her. Downside is my parents wouldn't talk to me for a long time. Now my mom apologized for not believing me. This is a damn good answer. This is the reality of things. Even when you're right, speaking up against the status quo, no matter what that may be, can cost you. Has your dad or cousins apologized yet? Weddings suck anyway. At a friend's wedding in 2003, he was asked if he wants to marry the bride greater than first name last name less than. Without any pause he said no. Everyone was shocked, including the bride. It was like the world stopped turning for a second and dead silence together with severe tension was in the air. He then corrected that he was there to marry greater than correct first name. Last name less than the bride's first name has been a wrong one when he was asked. But the bride itself doesn't notice. Some guests did notice as well. The official then checked and it turns out he noted down the wrong first name, which would lead to them not being married if not corrected. They are happily married until today. What happened today that ended their marriage? Smiley face. They just got bored seeing each other during quarantine. There were no objections but at my cousin's wedding, about 12 years ago, when the priest asked if there were any objections, my cousin, who is a 6'5" bodybuilder, turned to the crowd with his arms wide as if to challenge anyone to object. The whole place erupted with laughter. It was great. Is he T-posing? If you can't T-pose at your own wedding, when can you? Home alone in quarantine, looking at the world outside from your window. When asked if there were any objections, right on cue, the groom's 2-year-old nephew squealed and banged his toy car on the floor a couple of times like he was trying to make a point. The marriage didn't last. I guess he's the only one who was perceptive enough to know. When the registrar was doing the whole "will you marry take you bill" bit, there was a loud shriek of "Bill!" paused the ceremony and everyone was looking round to find the source. The source was a small baby using this opportunity to speak one of their first proper words. No, but at my wedding when they asked if anybody had any reason to believe we should not be wed, I playfully covered my husband's ears. Got a good laugh. Not an actual objection, but at the "if anyone here present knows of any reason why they should not be joined" moment. The photographer knocked over his tripod, smashing his camera, and shouted, "Fuck!" I was at an outdoor wedding. During the ceremony we get to the asterisk, "Speak now or forever hold your peace" asterisk bit, and during the pause, a squirrel had been walking across a tree branch, causing it to crack, break, and fall to the floor. It was loud. I turned to my wife and said, asterisk, "I guess God is trying to tell us something," asterisk, to which I got hit on the arm by her as others around us chuckled. Apparently I said it a little too loudly. Turned out that squirrel was onto something. They split up after 5 years. Gotta upvote this question because I feel that if enough people see it, there will be a good answer. And I really want to hear it. I've tried asking a similar one months back but there weren't much responses too. I guess I'm just unlucky. The most dramatic objection came from a guy seated further back in a church filled with people. As an organist, I've witnessed innumerable weddings. He said the groom was still legally married to another woman in California, that a decree of divorce had not been finalized by the judicial system. Monsieur. Turns out the guy was correct. Some glitch in the process prevented the divorce from becoming official, even though the groom thought it had long been resolved. Apparently, the man who spoke at the East Coast wedding ceremony was related to the groom's wife, and the guy was intent on spoiling the occasion out of some bitterness he held toward the groom. Monsieur. Just FYI, the original purpose behind the question was to ask if anyone was aware of any legal reason why the two parties couldn't be wed, e.g., if one of them was already married to someone else or if they were siblings. Greater than if they were siblings. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that type of objection. Imagine the drama. Legal and religious laws too. My mom and I were on my spring break of my junior year in college. We were on a little 4-day cruise and loving life. On the first night, a man begins walking to a large fountain in the center of the dining area. Now this dining area was 3 levels with the top 2 cut out like a balcony so you could see all the way through. As this guy is dragging her up, she is resisting and shaking her head, trying not to make a scene. After he gets everyone's attention and you could hear a pin drop, he begins his speech. She says no. She flees. He follows. My mom and I couldn't help but wonder how the rest of the trip went since it was only the first night and we had assumed they were sharing a room. Yeah lol, we can just hope. It seems like such a movie type scenario. I wanna know how it would play out in real life. Step Aunt Karen. You can see where this goes. I wanna hear more. Wow, funny comment. What happened? I was witnessing this wedding one time. I couldn't go because the wedding was happening far, far away, but someone was nice enough to let me watch via the TV. Anyway, it was all going well and smoothly. Then this big, bald-looking guy bursts through the door shouting, "I object." Quote, as you can expect, we were all kinda shocked. What was even more crazy is then a dragon and a talking donkey appeared as well. The big, bald guy managed to convince the bride to not marry the person she was about to but marry him instead. Crazily, she accepted and they lived happily ever after. Did the big bald guy happen to have green skin? Maybe. Shrek is so wholesome. This is amazing. Lol. Only once. They were lawyers being married by one of the judges they appeared before a lot. It was done as a joke. The judge overruled the objection. That's cute. Well, they were going to film it for posterity but the camera guy never turned up to the wedding. Then this guy dressed mostly in black leather appears, wearing some sort of motorbike helmet like a total douche. He stands there, breathing heavily for what seemed like 5 minutes. Then casually announces that they're both brother and sister and he'll turn them both to the dark side. I didn't go to this wedding but my father is a pastor and to this day claims this to be the craziest ceremony he's done. The couple wanted a redneck but not redneck wedding. They rented him a big rich cowboy suit. Think Doug Dimmadome. They then proceeded to give him a holstered revolver with a blank in it and told him when he got to speak now or forever hold your peace bit. The groom's brother would stand up to object and they wanted him to pull the gun and shoot. Hi monsieur, according to my dad, it was the stupidest request he ever had but it was fun and the crowd loved it. That is weird, but I would love to have seen it. If everyone's on board, it's gotta be good. I never thought it was a real thing. Me neither. But I figured that if there are so many of us on Reddit, at least one of us would have experienced it. Greater than. Glad to be receiving GR8 responses. My mill showed up to my wedding in a black funeral-type fundamentalist Mormon-looking dress in protest as she was supposed to wear purple, silver or teal to match wedding colors and had shown me 2 outfits she bought in those colors. But she got mad at me for not letting Bill give the blessing at the rehearsal dinner because I wanted the actual pastor in attendance to do it and threw a fit and threatened not to come to the wedding. She ended up coming, but in that funeral dress, and frowned in all the wedding pictures and pretty much ruined my wedding. Yikes, that's horrible. Never witnessed one, but I'm fully prepared to pull an objection stunt. Couple is poly. They tell their family they are good Christian monogamous. Family will disown them as you're also the boyfriend is a manipulative narcissistic asshole who only picked to be poly so he could cheat without repercussions. I don't care if I become the villain in the story. So long as I can topple this boss off his high horse, I'll sleep well. No, but I have witnessed this question being posted 80 fucking times. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.